We are actually back. We just checked. Everybody can hear each other. Professor Lanza is joining us virtually right now. And we're here for our panel discussion to dive a little deeper in the topics of the smart factory. Just a reintroduction for everybody who is here with us today. Professor Lanza is joining us virtually. And I have Dr. Heinz-Juergen Prokop here, Herr Rolf Najork to my left, and Sven, Hamann, the host of this event. And I would start right with the first question to Rolf Najork. We've heard a lot about the vision for the factory of the future, for the smart factory, and we saw also the iteration from what you talked about in 2017 to where you've came right now. And I think many companies, many people in the audience out there try to figure out what the first steps are, what to do to prepare the best strategy towards a factory of the future. So probably if you could share some of the experience that you've made in creating this path toward the smart factory and what's important to kick off this conversation right now.
I think what's important, particularly at the beginning, is that they have an idea of what the future will be like. What are you shooting for on the long run? And we're not only introducing some nice Industry 4.0 solutions within the next 1-2 years, that we need to have an idea of what is different in our manufacturing world in 10 years from now on. That kicked off our considerations in terms of factory of the future. And on the other hand, it's not only important that we're driving technology and technological solutions, but we also address a real customer need. And I think particularly what we see these days, there is an increasing need for customization of products, all sorts of products, by the way. And even if you go into classical mass production industries like the automotive industry, you would see that increasingly, particularly in the premium segment, you see an increasingly higher degree of customization in the product. And when you go into other industries like, let's say, the medical industry, where you have personalized solutions for certain operation technology, then I think you're very deep into the lot-sized one world. And I think that was what's driving us. It was driving the technical, first of all, the technical ability, but on the other hand, real customer desire that we would see will serve a business purpose that will make business more successful on the long run.
Thank you. And obviously, I want to hear from other stakeholders in the industry as well. Heinz-Juergen Prokop, what experience did you make? How did you figure out your path toward the smart factory of the future?
I think first what we experience is that digitization creates a new dimension of complexity. And there are infinitive numbers of possibilities. And I think we all underestimated the effort it takes to implement new solutions. And you need trial and error to finally meet customer benefits, and this all takes a lot of time, money, and effort. For a machine tool company, it's also not easy to find IT specialists we need, and I think at the beginning we thought that we have to develop everything ourselves, and in between we see that it's only possible in partnership with companies which provide solutions we cannot develop on our own. But in between, I think if you combine the individual solutions we have, and we learned a lot in the last I think it's nearly 10 years now that Industry 4.0 was launched. I think 2011 it was on the Hannover exhibition. I think in between it creates a picture which is more and more convincing, and this is also seen by our customers. So at the beginning, if you try to convince customers from an individual solution, it was very easy to explain why that it's really creating benefit. But the combination of our solutions now really shows a big step forward.
Thank you. Professor Lanza, you obviously look at the topic of industrial digitization through a scientific lens. And I think many of the ideas that we heard about, that we talked about, are easier talked about than implemented. What are the biggest obstacles from your perspective of putting theoretical concepts into place?
You asked me as an academic guy for implementation. My responsibility are new ideas, new vision. But maybe that's the reason why you asked me, because maybe I can give a clear answer. It's missing a clear strategic view where the companies want to go, and then clear investment for a solid and open IT architecture. Because at the moment we see in the company fragmented IT systems, old, newer ones, but not a clear vision how that works together. And we have to invest for that. Yes, investment for prerequisite, and not only dealing with that short-term benefits coming out of the next Industry 4.0 showcase.
What do you think are like the first steps and the first necessary steps companies have to take right now to make this vision a reality?
I think it was the right way the last years to show these showcases, these pilots, these benefits. As Mr. Prokop mentioned, we have now a clear view where we want to go. But now at the moment, it's really timely to discuss where do I want to go in my IT architecture, in my systems. And having this big picture, these frameworks, then I can start step by implementing. Even if I have the decision to implement a new MES, manufacturing executive system like Bosch did, it takes years to implement it. So start.
I think that's always a good motto. So thanks for that input. Sven, I wanted to come to a question from the audience that comes to us here through our platform. Just a remark from my side, if you want to contribute to this discussion, this is actually your event. Please let us know what questions you are interested in by putting your question into our box on the right-hand side of this screen, and then I'm happy to ask them here in our panel discussion. So Sven, coming to you, somebody from the audience wants to know how is Bosch preparing for a potential additional lockdown in your factories?
So I think the first lockdown gave us quite a good view on what is needed, and also from my feeling now, being in the second wave, I see that we keep it much more calm. So we have more ideas how to do it. So it's not the missing ideas, unknown situation. So I think we have a much clearer view now what is needed. And my recommendation would be, start now. Like Gisela Lanza also said, most important is to start now. It's okay to start small with digitalization. I look at it like a journey. So it's a way. You have a way to go. It takes time. And most important is that you know where you want to go. So you've seen the Bosch vision of the factory of the future. That's the way we want to go. And with every step, we approach this vision.
And if you guys from the audience wanted to direct more questions to Bosch itself, you can do so by choosing expert from the attendee list. And there you can get into a discussion with a representative from Bosch directly. I wanted to ask you, Mr. Prokop, as well, about how you prepared for the current situation, how you look at the second wave of the lockdown, and what best practices you can share. What experience did you make?
Yeah, I think with an operational view, I think we made checklists for a shutdown or a controlled ramp up afterwards. We have daily meetings. We are very close to what happens in the factory and react. We look for critical parts and increase our stock levels for that. And most important for us is that we depending on the situation, look for measures how we can protect our people, our employees. So keep distance, have groups when they go to lunch or whatever, and there are a lot of ideas.
Great. And I think, one question that's on some of the company leaders' mind is also the question around budget, costs. How do you balance, Sven, and this question goes to you. How do you balance budget and vision, the need for innovation, and also the need for reducing costs, which is specifically, pressing for many companies right now in the crisis?
Yeah, I think what is important, if you do it step by step, then you can make sure that each step has a quick return on invest. So a typical number that we always look at Bosch is the return on invest has to be less than 2 years. So you don't need a lot of pre-investment. You can really build it up step by step. What you have to make sure is that you do not end up with a lot of single solutions. So you need the clearer picture how that all fits together later. But you can go it step by step. Another important factor is a lot of Industry 4.0 solutions, they are like upgrading existing machines. So typically you do not need to invest in new machinery. So you can bring the installed base into the age of Industry 4.0. And also if you look, for example, at the investment for qualifying the people, that typically also pays off in a lot of more benefits than only getting into the digital age. Because with the qualification, they can really participate in shaping your company. They can participate in innovation. So that's also very important investment. So I think overall it pays off quickly. Yeah.
And Professor Lanza, I saw that you nodded your head, that you smiled. Anything from your perspective that you wanted to contribute here?
Yes, I mean, the step-by-step approach, that's good. And like Sven Hamann mentioned, I have to know where to go. I think that's important. But even if I know that, I don't have to invest it once. And we always think about big investment in IT system, but it's not that. That's not the huge part. The huge effort is, for example, data clearance. Make clear where you are, what is your systems, where are you at the moment, where are the black holes, and I mean, especially in these times, don't send your people home, bring them in, they should work on this Industry 4.0 strategy and make clear how can you upgrade your systems, your hardware, and go a step further on. But again, I would like really to stress the solid and open IT architecture where you have to go on, because that's like building a house. If you don't have the foundation for 5 floors, you can't build 5 floors. If you at the moment have only 2 floors and you want to grow in future, you have to think about it if you talk about the foundation. And that's let's say the architecture you have to build up.
Bring your people in. This is something that you talked as well in your keynote. What's important in addressing this current debate? This empty industry halls, machines taking over the industry floor. How do you bring your people in, as Professor Lanza framed it so well before?
Yeah, what's important is when we talk about that, I think we need to talk about taking away the fear from people. Yeah, I think we live in a very interesting time. I think we have more and more digitalization coming. But on the other hand, we also see that due to demographics, the number of our skilled operators are going down. So I think basically we are in line with the general society trend when it comes to classical manufacturing operation work. So I think, first of all, we have to take away the fear, do I have a job in the future or not? But then secondly, we also have to get more and more people interested in a compelling vision. And a compelling vision needs to be a vision for the customer, but also needs to be a vision for our employees, our associates, for our surrounding. And then lately, what I believe is extremely important as well is we need to create a vision for the whole industry, because nobody will just want to buy their technology from us as much as they don't want to buy it 100% from any of our competitors. I think we need to have an open technology stack that our different contributors in the industry can engage in. And that is why with all the things that we're doing, both with the new control technology, but also with the new NEXEED platform, we are going into open platforms that are open to anybody to enhance in any direction. And I believe this, when we talk about, like Professor Lanza did, about a solid foundation, I think coming to a digital world that is not proprietary, but allows everybody to participate and use the strength and the multitude and the diversity of the internet-based development, that's a foundation on which we can build the future then.
Yeah, and I'm interested in learning more about how Trumpf is actually addressing this issue, this multi-layered future, many participants, many contributors. Any experience that you wanted to share in this regard?
Yeah, I think partnership is a very important point, and to learn partnership is not easy. It's not a supplier you have, because you have to work on interfaces, you have to have special contracts and so on. That's new for us. And I think in total there is no blueprint. We have a consulting team which is able to build up a digital twin for a customer's factory in between 3 or 4 days, and then you see that how much potential is in the processes of the material. We see that our machines are very mature, and the big potential is in the processes between the machines, and then you have to do it step by step, and some customers don't want to be connected to the cloud, so you have to have solutions which you can run in the cloud and on premise, because maybe they have secret data customers who don't allow to give their data outside, and so it's in total very complex, and yeah, you can only do it step by step. And it's important to take the employees with you. So, but our experience is that we always try to find interfaces which have a good usability, which are self-explaining, and especially the machine operators tell us that they feel relieved with the new solutions because they make much less mistakes, because they get a clear description of what they have to do and so on.
I think the pandemic showed that, the human factor in the factories is, even more unreliable, as it was before. And I think it's a question that's on many of the employees' mind. How do you address the fear of what we just, talked about, empty factory halls, people losing jobs, and how do you make, a positive vision for the future in your company?
So we have a daily reporting of what happens worldwide at Trumpf. Everyone can see how much infections, how many people are in quarantine, and we always remember everyone to keep the rules. And I think we all have the feeling there is no place which is more safe than Trumpf, and the numbers show it. So we have groups A and B. One group is at home and one is in the company and so on. I think we all have similar things, but I think in such times the company culture plays a big role. And if employees like to follow the rules, then it's a good precondition.
Professor Lanza, many people outside in our audience make their own experiences with smart factories, with industrialization, with the use of AI and machine learning. What role does science play in moving the idea of the factory of the future forward?
As science, we can give new insight or new ideas. New ideas, try to find out what could be pilots, what could be the new role of the human in the smart factory. And there I have clear to say, each boring job can be done in future by artificial intelligence. But the creative, reacting at the new situation, and we are living in a VUCA world, as we heard at the moment. So we have to react, we have to change our strategy, and there the people are in, and that's blue colors, that's white colors. We need this discussion, this interaction, and I think as science we can give here. Be a partner in cooperating and discussing new ideas. We need this innovation. And if you ask me personally, at the moment, I have the fear that with Corona and COVID, we do less innovation. We only do our structured work.
For people who wanted to reach out to a scientific community, to start a project together, a collaboration together, how can a fruitful and productive collaboration between science and business look like? Which is one of the questions from our audience. If you could, give us your insights on that.
I think we have a really good system in Germany. So, for example, Bosch, as we talk about Bosch, we have a lot of these ÖGPs, like Bosch said. That's a cooperative research project where we can work over 2-3 years together. And that's really on a collaborative world. So from academic, there came new ideas, but in a real, let's say, playground, and the real playground is the company. So we try to find a solution where the company can then apply in 2 years, maybe even tomorrow. But together with new, let's say, with hungry young scientists, together with the experience from the industry in our BMBF, BMBE, but also in bilateral projects, I think we have a good network in Germany with the platform industry 4.0, with all the alliance, what we have. So I think we have a good, let's say, landscape of partners here in Germany. I hope so.
And I think one topic that we've touched already, Sven, was the topic of taking the people and the employees with you, towards this shift. What can we do from a perspective of, preparing, educating the workforce for this factory of the future?
Yeah, well, from my experience, that's one of the key issues, and you need to create opportunities for the people to learn. And on one side, to learn on digitalization, what is directly related to their job, but also create opportunities to learn beyond the job. And you should create something like a mindset in your company of lifelong learning. And that includes also the management. It's management, engineers, shop floor, everybody. And that's the only way how to do this journey together. And another aspect from my point of view is create transparency on what you want to do and where you want to go. Share this openly. Involve the people in the discussion, and also give them the opportunity to shape your company, to contribute to the innovation.
Mm-hmm. Anything you wanted to add from your perspective at Trumpf?
We see that e-learning is a very good tool for this. And if you, I think our specialists learned very fast how to make it interesting, how to, I think gamification is a good keyword to make it more fun to learn. And afterwards you have a test and can see yourself if you have learned it really. And so we are astonished how it's used, how intensive it's used by our employees.
Great. And, to probably wrap this up and to give like everybody at the end of our discussion a little highlight thought, I wanted to, get your, most important ideas, your most creative ideas out of right now for the factory of the future. What are like 3 words that come to your mind when you think about the smart factory of the future? You have a little more time, Sven and Heinz-Juergen, because I wanted to start with Rolf. What are your 3 words for the factory of the future?
Yeah, I think first of all, the factory of the future is just a vision, and we don't know to what level it can emerge. So first of all, for me, the factory of the future is unlimited. It's the start of a journey. And then secondly, what is very important for me is we will see total automation of everything. Yeah, it's a matter of time. And it's not up for us in Europe or in Germany to decide where we are. We are really not only at the top of the movement. I think there's a lot of movement in Asia already, and it is about to overtake us. So we better, and when then coming to a resume for what you asked me, we need to be faster every day.
Over to you.
Yeah, I think better quality, less mistakes, and more fun to work.
Sven?
Intelligent, human-centered, and coming true soon.
And the final words come from Professor Lanza. Our factory has to be ultra-changeable. Doesn't matter if people are in or machinery, I hope both in future. And digitalization is only the tool to do that. We have to be changeable in future.
Great. Thanks for these insights. I think there are many interesting aspects, many important aspects that we have to consider moving towards the factory of the future. And one thing that comes to mind that we talked a lot about is partnership, collaboration, working together, working something out together. And this is something that we wanted to address here as well, Sven, right?
Very good point. Thank you very much. I would like to take the opportunity to say thank you to our guests, Gisela Lanza and Heinz-Juergen Prokop, for sharing with us your experience of the production system of the future from the way what is already possible and what will be the view in the future. And I hope I found the perfect gift for you. So winter is coming. So we have more time for homework, do-it-yourself projects. And this is a combination of a Bosch power tool with a household appliance. So it's a IXO screwdriver for opening wine bottles. So that's perfect. We will send it to you, Gisela. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I think, in talking about numbers and number crunching and data, I think, the amount of alcohol consumed kind of accelerated as well. And this is not really, it's helping, actually. So thanks a lot. Very interesting. Thanks a lot for all of you guys' attention. And we are moving over now to our breakout sessions. And these breakout sessions are really the opportunity for you to join the discussion, to include yourself and your thoughts into our discussions. You find the 3 breakup sessions on the top of this stream. You can choose one session. If you wanted to have a look into the other session, you can join the session as well. And we have 3 sessions. The first breakout session talks about digital plant operations, transparency, decision, and tracking. The second one is called It's Not Just About Technology, it's also talking about people as critical success factor. And the third one is a holistic optimization through connection of logistics and manufacturing. And we see each other later after the breakout sessions for another Q&A with Rolf Najork from Robot Bosch Industries. Thanks a lot. See you later.